What's a happening YouTube? This is John, nerding out with cards. And what I want to do tonight is I want to kind of just do like a rummage through my Ozzie Smith collection. You know, it's always fun to do for me anyway, flipping through the binder. And, because after my last video, I finally had time to go through and, put the new editions where they go. And one of the things that I did a couple years ago was in my binder, I put like little placeholders for the cards I was missing. So that way I didn't have to keep rearranging. Just, you know, went through the checklist, the ones I was missing, wrote them down, put them in the slot. And then when I can get a card, I just go to that slot, pull this out, and put the card in there. But first, what I want to do is I got a second Ozzie Smith binder going. Previously, like my graded cards, I had been keeping in a box, but I think it was Dylan, Double D, had turned me on. I think I saw in one of his videos these graded card pages, that can fit multiple manufacturers or graders, whatever you want to call it, one touches, things like that. So I was able to take them out of the box, put them in these pages, and have another binder for those cards. It'd be nice if maybe one day, these larger graded cards, pages for those, or maybe they're already out there, and if they are, kind of let me know and I'll pick them up. But yeah, so I just want to kind of go through, if you want to stick around, I'm just going to flip through these pages and pull out some cards that I think are neat. We'll see how long this goes, but the first one, here lately, the Kellogg's cards, I feel like have gotten a lot of airplay, a lot of attention, especially like the earlier in the 70s ones. But luckily, Ozzie had a couple made before they stopped doing them, which is unfortunate. And this one's kind of neat because, he's pictured as a Padre on the front, but it's got the Cardinals logo on the back. This is from 1982. So really cool card. Let's just kind of keep on going. Let's see. Oh, here's another one. The 1983 Kellogg's. Yeah, I wish they still did like food issues and whatnot. I'll probably show a whole bunch more of those. There's these really cool cards. I don't know a whole lot about the history, the distribution, or anything like that about a lot of these cards, but 1983 Permagraphics. They had like this credit card thing going on some of them. You had the regular, you had the gold. There was 4 from that set. That's a couple of them. Really thick cards. Let's keep going through. I like this card a lot. Running Reds, which I could have said Red Birds, but whatever. But I like this one a lot because it's got Willie on it. And it's got, Lonnie Smith, David Green. I mean, Lonnie Smith was a huge, huge player for the Cardinals and, for the 82 run. Show off some like multiplayer cards where they fit. This one's kind of weird, right? So this is 84. And so, you get this Purina card, the dog food company. But this is just like a year after, because Purina owned the St. Louis Blues, and they literally gave up on the team, and they were going to move to Saskatoon up in Canada, weird stuff, but not a huge fan of Purina. So, but yeah, it's kind of funny because the card was issued, around that time. I always like this one right here. 85 Donruss, 85 Leaf. If you think about it, like the 85 Donruss was a real banger set. They had a lot of, like Player of the Month cards, Record Breaker cards, and I mean, just really cool stuff. But this one's really cool because, it's got Ozzie Smith there in the field. Always like that image. And then Fleer had some really cool cards at that time. But you see this Superstar Special. It's got Gary Carter, Darryl Strawberry, Steve Garvey, and Ozzie. They came out with some really good cards back then. Oh, this one's awesome, right? So this like tattoo card from Topps. And there's one the previous year too, but then there's this one, but it's got Ozzie, Tom Seaver, and then it's got Terry Kennedy, former Cardinal, and then Eddie Murray, former classmate of Ozzie, fellow Hall of Famer. That's really neat. And here you go. You got General Mills. These are like stickers. But you got Ozzie and Dave Winfield. 2 Hall of Famers on that one. Yeah. Some real banger stuff. Let's keep going. Oh, shoot. I always like this one, too. There's the Topps and there's the O-Pee-Chee variant, too. But as far as, like, playing days, because Topps has been very inconsistent as far as, like, highlights cards, leader cards, team cards, manager cards over the years. But, so this one from Ozzie's iconic 85 home run in the LCS. I know Pepino Man, he's going through a tough time, but this won't help him, because it's against his Dodgers. But yeah, it's the only playing days card of Ozzie for that home run, and it's a sticker. Yeah, I love that thing. Yeah, and I kind of keep adding on. This one's got Ozzie in it, but this is from Jack Clark's home run the next game. Kind of sealed the deal on their way to the World Series that they unfortunately lost. I think it was John 3D 80's kid. He had the Dale Murphy of this. But the Sports Illustrated right here of Ozzie Smith, and there's an actual poster of this. I thought about picking it up just because of this card. Very thin, like magazine paper thin card. But those posters ain't cheap. So let's keep on going through. See, we're in 87 now. Now here you go. Another Purina card. Check this out. I always like this stuff. BK Lounge, Burger King. Oh, man. Now, people who collect from, players and whatnot from the 80s might recognize this. And I don't know a whole lot about this either. Picked it up a long time ago, but there's these cards that, they're just image cards. Really obscure stuff. This one's from the Indiana Blue Sox Incorporated. There's another one right here as well. And this is an Action Superstars. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about the history and distribution of those, but got them. This one's awesome. Again, very thin, but you got Ozzie, fellow Hall of Famer Tim Raines. Yeah, and I think this is it's got French on it. So a lot of obscure sets from back then. Let's keep going. We're 88 now. A lot of really cool stuff. You know, from the 87 series, Fleer did a set. And you got a card of the Wizard there. Always liked that one when I was a kid. You know, it's got the nickname. It's from the World Series. Here's a pretty obscure one. This action-packed test. This is a later in life acquisition for me. You got this Panini sticker from 88, but it's got Ozzie Smith and Eric Davis on it. And I know Mangini, you know, he talked about this in one of his videos, but if you notice this sleeve, the reason why the card is where it's at is because it's for 48 Bowman sleeves, but these smaller cards fit really well in there, and it slides right into the binder page. Helps the smaller cards, you know, present a lot better in the binder. There you go, because there's two of them. I'll show both at the same time. Starting lineup, talking baseball. And it's got, like, you know, an actual picture and more of a cartoony picture. I had this one for quite a while, but that one, again, later in life acquisition. This is a great image. You know, remember the Smokey the Bear card I got in recently? Here's the 88 Smokey the Bear. And you can see this image was definitely taken during the 87 World Series because, you know, they're playing the Twins. But yeah, you know, it looks like Ozzie had just got done turning into double play. Really cool image. Awesome stuff. Now let's go through one more year. Let's go through 89. You know, just kind of round it off with the 80s. Oh, here's some weird ones, and I'm missing 3 of them actually, because they have different backs. But these like Chinese playing cards, and what they do is they have different backs to them. As you can see, this is like a Boris Becker back, and this is a 555 back. There's one that has, it's like a pink border, and this one has a couple different, there's like a purple one, and there's also one with a different pattern. I've seen those available, but you know, for like $80, you know, just to say I have more cards. Haven't quite got there yet. Oh, here you go. Landmark set. Here's the Tiffany Bowman. Obviously, the more known card is the Griffey, you know, because that's a rookie. Maybe not the Tiffany, but, you know, whatever. Here's a magazine card. It's a replica card. That was in a magazine, baseball cards magazine. You know, mimicking the, you know, multiplayer cards from the 50s. But this one's got Ryan Sandberg and Ozzie Smith. That's pretty cool. And Ozzie's got a few of those replica cards. Barry Cola postcards. And Ozzie Smith's got a set. I'm just going to pick my favorite image. Because, you know, he's fielding there, getting ready to throw a runner out. And they did these sets for at least a handful of players that I'm aware of. You know, like Will Clark, Mark McGuire, and then my guy Ozzie. And the last one I'll show for tonight in this rummage, you know, 1980s rummage of Ozzie Smith. He's there for a long time. He had a restaurant in the St. Louis area. You know, for a long time it was in Westport Plaza. And then he had it in downtown for a good while. But yeah, here's Ozzie's restaurant card. And there's another variant of this where it has advertisement here. I don't have that. But I was unaware of this for a long, long time. And it wasn't until I got into that Ozzie Smith Facebook group that I had learned of it. And luckily I was able to find one not too long after. But, oh, I'm going to show one more, because if you watch Go Crazy Card Collecting, you've probably seen this one in the background. This baseball talk collection where it's got, you know, like a record. And he's talked more about this on his channel. But yeah, figure I'd show that. If you stuck around this long, I'm going to shout out a new channel, you know, because, well, he's a fellow Cardinals fan. You know, we're taking over, I guess. But it's Jerry's Rockin' Cards, new channel. And it looks like his channel is exploding pretty quick too. So that's good stuff to see. But yeah, I'll put his channel down below, along with, you know, the other ones I mentioned. But hopefully, you know, it's like, yeah, the pickups are cool. Pickups are great. But I really, really do love going through my Ozzie Smith binder, just flipping through it, kind of like what I just did in this video, and just looking at the cards, thinking about the cards, and, well, what better thing to do than talk about some cards, show them. So hope you all enjoyed this, and you all have a good one.